Hello everyone, how are you today? Trust you're doing great. Welcome to Peter's studio. Now, in today's discussion, we will examine the official press statement released by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) concerning the controversy surrounding the disclosure of a candidate's voters registration information. All right, previously, it was seen all over social media that sensitive information about a voter was seen online. All right. So, as a result of this, INEC has come out to issue press statement. All right. To INEC has come out to release press statement on what actually happened. Now, yesterday, INEC released an official statement saying that it had become aware of the matter circulating on social media and that it had commenced a preliminary investigations. For this discussion, I will first read through the statement and then I will point out some major observations that stood out to me. As I read through it, I noticed several issues that may surprise you. Now, if you're ready, let's dive in. Now, what did INEC said? The statement was titled alleged misuse of authorized access credentials and unauthorized disclosure of information from the Commission's continuous voters registrations database. Now, the term authorized access credentials simply refers to login details such as usernames and passwords assigned to authorized personnel. INEC stated that its attention had been drawn to allegations circulating on social media and in some sections of the media regarding unauthorized access to its continuous voters registration database and the subsequent publications of information relating to a candidate in the recent political party primary elections in the Federal Capital Territory. According to the Commission, it takes these allegations seriously and it has immediately commenced a thorough investigation to establish the facts surrounding the incident. INEC further explains that authorized registration officers participating in the nationwide CVR exercise are granted controlled access to specific components of the database. Now, these officers are authorized to register new applicants, process requests for transfer of voter registration, update voter records where necessary. Now, INEC stressed that such access is strictly limited to official duties and is withdrawn at the conclusion of the exercise. The Commission then stated that its preliminary investigations had enabled it to identify the specific user account through which the information was accessed. It added that relevant personnel had been questioned and that all departments connected to the incident were cooperating fully within the investigation. INEC also stated that it was examining all technical, administrative, and operational factors associated with the matter to determine individual responsibility, establish the circumstances surrounding the use of the credentials, identify any breaches of internal access control protocol, and take appropriate action against anyone found culpable. However, the Commission went on to say that its audit findings indicated that there was no external breach of the CVR database and no unauthorized external access to its ICT infrastructure. According to INEC, the information was accessed using valid credentials assigned to personnel involved in the CVR exercise, but was subsequently released without authority. The Commission also stated that the incident involved the retrieval of a specific voter record and did not indicate any compromise of the broader voter registration infrastructure or the personal information of over 90 million registered voters. INEC assured the public that it takes the security confidentiality and integrity of voter data seriously and remains committed to transparency and the protection of personal information. The statement further disclosed that the Department of State Services (DSS) had independently commenced its own investigation and that INEC would continue to cooperate fully with all relevant security agencies. Finally, the Commission urged members of the public to disregard unfounded speculations while investigations remain ongoing and promised to keep the public informed of its final findings. The statement was signed by Mohammed Kudu Haruna, National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education Committee, dated 2nd of June 2026. Now, let us carefully look at our own observations at our own end. We are going to say certain observations that were noticed in the statements that was given by INEC. One, they concluded there was no hack while still investigating. They concluded no hack happened while still investigating. Now, in other words, if there was no hack, why is there investigation? All right? And it says investigations are still ongoing, yet it confidently declared that there was no external breach and no hacking incident. How can a commission still be carrying out a preliminary investigation while already reaching what sounds like a final conclusion? It creates that protecting the institution's image is taking priority over finding the complete truth. If they are already so certain about what happened, why not tell Nigerians whether anyone has been arrested or sanctioned? Now, the second observation is this: they identified the account, but not the person that compromised. Now, the statement says the audit identified specific user accounts used to access the information. However, it does not identify the individual behind that account. Was the account owner the person who logged in? Did the account owner share their credentials with someone else? Those are critical questions. The statement appears to protect identity while asking the public to accept its conclusion. Third observation: there was apparent failure of multi-factor authentication. Most modern systems use multiple layers of security. For example, if you attempt to access your email account from a new device, for example, you may be required to enter a one-time password, OTP, or answer security questions before you can have access. INEC's explanation seems to suggest that valid usernames and passwords alone were sufficient to access a database containing information on more than 90 million Nigerians. If ordinary banking applications use additional verifications, why would such a sensitive national database rely only on usernames and passwords? This raises serious questions about the strength of the security architecture of INEC. Fourth observation: admission of an internal threat. INEC insists there was no external breach. However, by stating that information was accessed using valid credentials assigned to personnel, it effectively admits that the problem originated from inside the system. An internal threat is often more dangerous than an external one. External attackers can be blocked through security measures, but when the individuals inside the system misuse authorized access, the risk becomes much greater. In fact, admitting that the threat comes from within should concern Nigerians even more. Fifth observation: internal controls appear weak. The Commission says it is investigating possible breaches of internal access control protocols. To me, that sounds like an admission that the internal governance framework may have failed. In properly secured administrative system, lower level personnel should not be able to access sensitive records without triggering alert and oversight mechanism. Many private sector platforms have restrictions that prevent screenshots, downloads, or unauthorized export. Why was a sensitive voters record apparently retrieved and released without immediate detection? If public attention had not been drawn to the matter, would anyone have known? Sixth observation, no viable accountability measures. INEC says relevant personnel have been questioned. However, it does not mention any suspensions, restrictions, or temporary removal of system access while investigation continues. In many of the confidential information would immediately lose access pending investigation. The statement leaves unanswered questions about whether the account involved remain active. Seventh observation, they explained the technical process but ignored the main question, which is a significant portion of the statement focusing on technical explanations about credentials, protocols, and database access. But Nigerians are asking a simple question. Why was the individual voter record accessed in the first place? What legitimate work-related purpose required? What legitimate work-related purpose required the retrieval of that specific record? Who authorized the access? These questions remain unanswered. In conclusion, at the end of the day, election credibility depends heavily on public trust. When questions arise about access to voters' information, citizens expect clear answers, accountability, and transparency. INEC has promised to continue its investigation and provide further updates. The public will be watching closer to see what conclusions are eventually reached and what actions are taken. What do you think about INEC's statements? Do you believe the commission has answered the key question, or do you think more clarification is needed? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.